There's somebody here you really don't even know, as Whitney Houston say, you don't even know your own strength. But I'm getting ready to tell you, after God speaks the word to you, you're going to know that.
Amen.
You are going to know that. My brothers and sisters, as we go into the month of February, we are getting ready to embark on a Sunday of the year that everybody look for.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Sunday, February the 2nd, the day that I laid my father to rest. On Saturday the 2nd, but on Sunday the 3rd, there'll be a celebration.
All right.
There will be a celebration amongst a group of people.
All right.
What group of people do you ask? I'm glad you asked. That group of people will be those that are rooting for their favorite team. See, I don't know if you know or not, but on February the 3rd is Super Bowl Sunday. And whoever your choice is, you will be in your various t-shirts and you will be rooting for your various teams. Now, I'm just going to go and tell you that my favorite team that day is going to be the San Francisco 49ers. And so I don't know who you're rooting for, but because I got family that will be here on Saturday to lay their brother to rest, they are all coming from San Francisco, California. And so this weekend, LaDon, I've got to go and jump on the bandwagon. I got to jump on the bandwagon. I really could care less who won. I really just want to see the halftime performance. But sometimes you got to jump on the bandwagon. And so on Sunday, I'm going to go and jump on the bandwagon, and I'm going to be rooting for the San Francisco 49ers. And so if you don't know what I'm talking about Super Bowl Sunday this year, once a year where two teams will come and figure out who is the champion. Now, in order to get to Super Bowl Sunday, you've got to fight it out all through the year. You've got to go up against various teams in various states, and you've got to figure out who is the best team. And so as we're about to end the NFL season, we now know who is in competition for the Super Bowl. But I want to talk to a couple of people about one of my teams that some of you may be very close to.
All right now.
And that team is the New Orleans Saints.
All right.
I don't know if I got any Louisiana people in the house, any New Orleans people in the house. I don't know if you got some folks down there, some grandmothers and some cousins, but I come to talk about one team. And that team is the New Orleans Saints. Now, the reason why I picked this team is because as I begin to study football, I began to read up on some of the teams, and one of the things that caught my attention about the New Orleans Saints was the fact that they had now called themselves the Who Dat Nation. And when I heard them all over the TV, they would be chanting, I would say, well, what are they talking about? And they would be chanting and chanting, Who Dat. Well, let me give you a little brief history. Wake up your neighbor next to you. Wake up your neighbor. Tell them don't miss their blessing. The New Orleans Saints had gone through a lot. In 2005, I read that they had a major tragedy that we all knew about.
Right.
And in 2005, the New Orleans Saints in the community of New Orleans was hit and affected by Hurricane Katrina. As a result of the storm, the New Orleans Saints stadium was damaged. The stadium was in a disarray. It was no longer able for them to do what it was that they normally do in that stadium. They had been through a major setback. They had gone through so much, and when their stadium was damaged, then they were forced to relocate. And I don't know about you, but I just want to drop a bug right now for you that sometimes became Who That Nation.
Ah.
Don't miss this, don't miss this. They adopted the Who That Nation. Now, somebody is trying to put that into perspective because so many times we are defeated by what we've gone through. But what the New Orleans Saints showed me, Mama Thomas, was that even though they had been displaced, even though they had been damaged, even though they had been distracted, they still thought they were the best team. They showed that they were the best team because they began to say, we are the Who That Nation. When you looked on the TV, they had Who That t-shirts. When you looked, they had Who That bumper stickers. They had Who That. But remember, they were displaced because of damages and distraction. Even though they had been displaced, Pastor, they still said, we are the best team. Even though they had been through hell and lost their familiar places, they still said, we are still the baddest team. In 2007, 2008, I did my study on them. 2007 and 2008, after the damages, they had the worst season in their history. The worst season that the team had ever had. But yet they were still raving, we the Who That Nation. Now I'm trying to understand, he done left me. He done took the checkbook.
All right now.
He won't send the child support. They just laid me off of my job. My children are acting crazy. My spouse tripping a little bit. As my pastor would say, the dog trying to eat the fish in the tank, the washing machine broke. There was so much going on, yet and still they said we the baddest team. And so then they had this horrible season, LaDonna, and that right there alone in our life would make us fold up.
Amen.
That right there would have said, this is enough for me. I can't take no more. I'm tired of being the underdog. I'm tired of not getting my blessing. I'm tired of everybody else driving up with a car and I'm still asking for a ride. I'm tired of everybody walking in new shoes. I still got these same shoes on. I'm tired of everybody shouting and saying I got a promotion and I can't even get a job. I'm tired. Yeah, that's how we act. You can look at me like that if you want to, but see, that's how we get into the woe is me. And what happens is the devil puts on his sunshade. And we begin to look out of his eyes. And he begins to illuminate things and make them look so much bigger than they are. And before we know it, it looks like everybody else is being blessed but me. It looks like everybody else is getting that breakthrough but me. It looks like everybody else is getting finances but me. It looks like everybody else is growing but me. You may have had a bad season in your life. See, they believe no matter what they face, they were still the best team in the league. After they went and bought all of their products and walked around with the Who That Nation, people were looking at them because they claimed that they were the best. A challenge to their opponent. See, what we've got to learn how to do is when the enemy is on our trail, we got to stop falling down in line and playing dead. He has only the power that you give him. And see, when he comes and he do, as my pastor say, he buckets you. We fold and we run scared. But here this team was saying, no matter what we look like to the other people, no matter what we look like to the folk out there, no matter they could have given up a long time ago. But they stood firm on the fact that they were the best team. Now in 2009, the New Orleans Saints came from the rear. And they became the Super Bowl champions. Now I want you to look back at the history of it. You go from losing a stadium. You go from losing a loved one. You go from losing your joy. You go from losing your peace. You go from losing all of your money. You go from losing your car. You go from losing your job. You go from losing your house. But God is saying,
that's all right.
But you still don't believe I'm the best God? You were distracted. You were displaced. Yeah, you had to move out of the house and go into the apartment. Yeah, you had to go down and downsize on that car. Yeah, you had to give that car up so you can ride the bus for a little while and get your finances together. Yeah, you may look like you have gone backwards. Your health failed you and you feel like you missed the whole year of your life, minister. still, but God is saying, do you believe that I'm still the best God? And so 2009, after they had been through so much, they became the Super Bowl champion. See, they believed all along that they were the best team. See, they knew all along that even though we were the underdogs right now, they believed all along we had the faith to be the Super Bowl champion. And God is saying to you right now in your situation, you have allowed your situation to take you under, and you now no longer believe that God is the best God. You no longer believe that God is working on your situation. You no longer believe that God is moving on your behalf. You no longer believe that He's blocking folks from hurting you. You no longer believe. But they always knew that they can do it. And we got to look at our past sometimes. And even what our present looks like. That does not determine our victory status. See, they were underdogs, remember? They were the most hated folk that laughing at them saying they need to take them shirts off. They need to put them bumper stickers up because they are the worst team in the league. But they stood firm. Because see, they didn't allow what was going on presently to be their outcome. And God is saying to you that your circumstances have nothing to do with your possibility. What you're going through right now has nothing to do with what God can do. What you're experiencing right now has nothing to do with what God is about to do. Don't allow your present circumstance to determine. As I get ready to close and leave, y'all, I don't want to bore you. But I want you to just continue to think about the series of how they went from being displaced and distracted.
Amen.
How they went from having the worst history ever. But how they became the champions.
Yes.
And one of the things I want to tell you about God, God is saying, are you persuaded?
Walk it, bring it on home.
God is saying,
Help.
I know that.
Yeah.
See, God is looking for some folk that's not saying, I think. He said the Thomas the Train Christians are over. Ain't no longer, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. But God is saying, I need some folks that know that they've been blessed out, that can say, I know He can, I know He can, I know He can fix my situation, I know He can fix my life, I know He can fix my children, I know He can fix my finances, I know He can make a way out of no way, I know He can give me peace, I know that. See, God is saying, I'm so tired of these fair weather Christians. When everything is good in your life, you tear the church up. Everything is good in your life, you're blessed and highly favored. But when hell breaks through in your life, you sit up there saying, but God, I don't know if you can, God. But God, if you can, God, will you fix it? God,